It's summertime. The boats are boating, the flowers are flowering.
And it's hot. So let's just go in and play some old video games.
But not just any old video game, let's play a summer-themed video game. Perhaps a game that's a sequel to a 1992 Game Boy game. A game that utilizes as much as 80% of the power of my trusty N64. And that game, of course, is
Wave Race
64. It remains an example of a nearly perfectly crafted game. With fun gameplay, great graphics, and an impressive physics engine, it's one of those rare titles that I can still have fun playing to this day. Plus, you can ride friggin' dolphins! Released in the US on November 1st, 1996, it was one of the first games for the system, fitting in nicely alongside Mario 64 and Pilot Wing 64. Wave Race 64 was developed by Nintendo EAD, or Entertainment Analysis and Development, the division of Nintendo that birthed into the world the legendary franchises of Zelda, Mario, and Star Fox. So, let's pop this sucker in and let the good times roll.
Let the Good Times Roll is a registered trademark of Kawasaki Heavy Industries.
Wave Race 64 stands up well today largely because of its gameplay. After starting up the game, you're presented with the different modes of Championship, Time Trial, Stunt Mode, and 2-player versus, which is basically Time Trial for 2 players. Before hopping into the main Championship game, it's advisable to warm up. You can pick from one of 4 unique riders, all of which I've apparently renamed to Kung Fu movie stars, because that's the type of kid I was in middle school, I guess. You've got your all-rounder, your crazy twitchy dude, your lightweight and nimble chick, and your high-speed but slow cornering fat dude, otherwise known as the rotund yet agile Sammo Hung. You can adjust handling characteristics as needed, but good luck figuring out what all these sliders do. If you're not feeling up to reading an FAQ online to translate, just go with the stock settings. Here in Dolphin Park you can jet ski around endlessly and learn all of the moves from basic handling to some of the crazier stunts like flips and barrel rolls.
Do a barrel roll!
As well as maneuvers that you do on the watercraft itself, like handstands and riding backwards. Wave Race 64 is one of those games that just feels right from the second you start. The controls for everything, especially the general movement controls, are spot on and very tight. Push the joystick over and you turn, but pull it back while you're turning and you dig into the turn harder, losing more speed but cutting a sharper corner. The physics of bouncing along the waves, while not necessarily super realistic, again just feel right. When racing, you fight against the waves to keep your line straight, and you can push the stick down to charge through larger waves and stick closer to the water, maintaining speed. On the other hand, if you're doing a stunt course, you might want to catch some air. Now you can do that by shifting your weight back more and bouncing off the waves. On some courses you might hop onto the crest of a wave and ride it for several seconds. It's a surprisingly enjoyable feeling, made even more surprising when you realize that this game was made almost 20 years ago. In Time Trial and Championship, you have to ride between buoys that charge your engine and give you ever-increasing speed up until you hit 5 in a row. If you miss one, you lose that extra speed advantage until you pass more to charge back up again. The speed increase is reason enough to pass on the correct side of the buoys, but there's also a limit to how many you can miss before you get disqualified. And now it's time for a Dome Candy Games pro tip. Hold R to slide across the water. This allows you to basically power slide around buoys and position yourself for the next one. Not very realistic, but useful if you're using someone who doesn't turn as quickly. I'm looking at you, Sammo. And not only does Wave Race control well, but it looks great too. These graphics really impressed back in the day, and they still look decent now. Waves ripple and move realistically, and your jet ski makes a misty spray in its wake.
Man, it's just so realistic.
Each course has its own distinct look, from the stormy seas of the Marine Fortress to the tropical islands of Sunny Beach or the serene waters of Drake Lake, or if you prefer obvious product placement, Sunset Bay's Fanta-colored waters.
Fanta Orange is a registered trademark of Fanta Soft Drinks and the Coca-Cola Company.
In Stunt Mode, you do stunts. So original. It's so 90s extreme with a capital X. This mode is tough. You get points for going through rings, so you want to do that, and the points increase for subsequent rings in a row, so you can't really miss one. You also have to do flips or barrel rolls.
Do a barrel roll!
But you can't mess up because you got to get to the next checkpoint before time runs out. It's just so stressful. It's a bit too stressful for me. Besides, stunt mode isn't very realistic. I've ridden jet skis before. You can't flip or barrel roll or anything in real life. Wait. I don't want to be wrong on the internet. Better look it up. Oh my goodness. Wave Race is a 100% realistic simulation. The jet skis and other sound effects sound pretty good, but the music, man, the music is where it's at.
You finished first and got 7 points. Great race.
It's so elevator, so adult contemporary, whatever that means, but seriously, it's actually really catchy. The only nitpick I have is the announcer, who, after only a few races, becomes really grating.
Okay. Good. Okay. Good.
Oh man, this guy is really into it. There's no option to turn him off either. If you still want sound effects, you're gonna listen to him.
Congratulations!
Wave Race is a pretty straightforward game. It doesn't mess around much, but that doesn't mean it takes itself super seriously. Like I mentioned in the intro, there is one really cool secret that is so worth it. First, you have to start a stunt race in Dolphin Park. While running the course, you have to do every single stunt at least once and go through every ring. That is, do a handstand, ride backwards, stand up, backflip, barrel roll, left and right,
Do a barrel roll!
and submarine dive. Now when you do it all right, you'll hear a dolphin at the completion of the course. Head over to the warm-up area and select anyone while holding down on the stick, and you'll be riding a friggin' dolphin. Is this not just the hilarious cherry on top of this game? You can ride this guy just like a jet ski, doing flips, barrel rolls,
Do a barrel roll!
crashing, though you can't do any of the on-vehicle stunts like riding backwards. I guess they didn't want anyone to ride on a dolphin's face. Not really sure what that's about. Wave Race 64 was a groundbreaking game that mastered the delicate balancing act of technology and solid game design. And it's a fun title to play to this day. It's also really easy to get your hands on. Used copies are plentiful and relatively cheap online, or you can download it on the Wii's Virtual Console. Wave Race did well enough that a sequel was released as a launch title on the Nintendo GameCube, serving much the same role as the 64 version. A fun game that shows off the power of the system it runs on. But that's a game for another review.
Congratulations!
So, do you guys have any fond memories of Wave Race? Feel free to share in the comments section, and as always, thanks for watching. Leo, you can't be up there, buddy. Are you in frame? Yes, you are. Together.
Okay.